In the United States, we have a tradition of visiting our deceased relatives and friends each May 31st, in which we celebrate Memorial Day. And as we stand at their graves, there are those that we knew well, who touched our lives, but also those that we only know by name and family stories. For all of them, we stand and say a prayer of thanksgiving to God and pray that they are joyfully in heaven. Well, today's first reading from Sirach strikes a chord as we remember our deceased loved ones. Sirach touches on the passage of time and our limitations for remembering, but he reassures us that what we have been given through our family members' efforts, faith, and our heritage continues in us. He ends with this message of hope by saying, through God's covenant with them, their family endures, and their glory will never be blotted out. Well, given our place in this lineage, a natural question is, what does God expect from us? It's a good question to ponder as we seek to serve God, our families, and society. I believe in the gospel we find some answers to living a fruitful life. First of all, we heard how Jesus enters the temple and sees practices that he doesn't like. Upon leaving, he had to be reflective. And the next day he returns with a decisive plan. That's lesson number one. Observe, reflect, pray, and then act decisively. Then there's Jesus' hunger, which leads him to approach a fig tree. You know, some believe that Jesus expected to see some green figs, but instead only saw leaves. In other words, all show and no substance. There's another lesson. It's fine to have a good presentation, but our lives need to produce what is good. The next lesson has to do with the temple money changers and the merchants. They each played a role in helping others to offer sacrifices as part of worship, but we're left to ask ourselves, do we focus too much on work and also recreation, at times to the detriment of our prayer life and our worship of God at Mass? And the final lesson may be the hardest. It's about forgiveness. Jesus tells the disciples that when we pray, forgive anyone whom you have a grievance. If we're honest, at times this may seem impossible because the hurts can become so ingrained. We can even ask, Jesus, do you know what they've done to me? These questions can become a part of our prayer too. And in the silence, we can remember that Jesus has gone before us and now is asking us to follow him in this forgiveness. My brothers and sisters, the legacy we leave will depend on our seeking to follow Jesus by pondering and praying honestly, by listening patiently with an open heart and an open mind, and lastly, by seeking to forgive others as Jesus has forgiven us. May God bless you and your families on this holy day as we seek to learn each day more deeply how to follow Jesus.